the WNBA. Oh, I literally dreamt of my response to these. I didn't want to say it. I'm not going to say it because I'm a good Christian. And somebody kid watching this. Women. This is why people think women shouldn't vote or nothing. Y'all doing too much. Pay us what you owe us. Oh, okay. Let me look at the P&L. Anybody own a business? I dare one of y'all to say something stupid like this to me. If you're losing millions of dollars a year, you haven't made money since inception. 1997. 97, I was 10. You mother ain't made money since I was 10. Pay me what you owe me. You lucky I don't fire somebody. If y'all came to me, anybody downstairs come to me after we have lost hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars every year for the last 20 plus years, and you say, pay me what you owe me. I hope your family is okay with this decision you just made. I'm finna fire the out of you. Don't even look back at me. Yeah, it's over for you. You lucky I don't swing on you. And this what these women doing. Let me just bring some stats for you. The WNBA has lost money every year since 1997. They have never had a profitable year. They average a loss of $10 million a year. In 2024, with your girl, three-pointer from the 5-point line, Caitlin Clark, with all the fame, all the fortune, all the attention, Angel Reese, all these women, they lost $40 to $50 million. $50 million. Subsidized by the NBA. The NBA literally owns 50% of the profits. They've been subsidized by the NBA for 20 plus years. You dumb heifers. They don't owe you nothing. You actually need to pay the NBA back for causing them to have a loss on their P&L every year. What are y'all saying? Women. I know ain't no woman doing this. Glad one of my favorite WNBA players ain't in that mix. What's her name? I forget her name now. She one of my favorites. She your favorite. Sophie Cunningham. That's his favorite for sure. She's single too, Nick. I'm just playing. Sophie Cunningham. I like her. She got a good attitude and a bad attitude at the right time, if it makes sense. She got good on camera. She got a bad attitude in the game if she got to get busy. All right. I love that about her. She seemed like a good player. She ain't out here being stupid. And I hope to God she ain't on there wearing no stupid shirt. Pay us what you owe us. I mean, we should be taking money out your check. Y'all shouldn't even have a check. And then they go, this is what they say. The league has grown from 102 million to 200 million from 2019 to 2024. Let's put this in perspective. And y'all still losing money? The league is growing, but the demand is growing even higher too. That means that the cost of things are growing. The cost of the arena, the ticket sales, all of those things are contributing factors. You guys may have been gaining money, but you're not making no money. So you're lucky that you get $75,000 a year. You should be taking money out of your endorsement checks to pay the NBA back. The gall of these women are asinine to me. Name a group of men that's doing this. The men are making billions of dollars a year, and they paying their players a less percentage than what they paying these women. Let's play some clips, man. Y'all see these fools in these shirts. A bunch of bulldaggers running around, and not all of them, because there's a couple of them that's decent, but the rest of them a bunch of dykes running around looking crazy all day. And I said it. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the English language. It's a bunch of butchy women running around. Nobody's really, the Caitlin Clark is straight, and she kind of mid. She's so mid, she kind of cute. All right? Sophie look good. But some of these other girls, they kind of mid, they cute. And so Caitlin Clark getting a lot of attention. A lot of men want to see, she got a little swag on her. Some of the other girls decent, but then some of them look like their uncle. And ain't nobody want to see their uncle play WNBA. And then they can't dunk. They were what are y'all, do y'all want to be real or do y'all want to be fake your whole life? And I'm not trying to be mean to these women. It ain't nothing wrong with you liking women and looking like a dude. But just know people ain't interested in watching that. Y'all not even dunking or nothing. Like nobody's watching the WNBA. You see Shane Gillis had his joke at the ESPYs. He just randomly picked up a girl and said 4-time champion and they clapped. He said, y'all know y'all gonna claim. No, y'all have no idea who's a WNBA player. I lived in Arizona, and I could be out of touch. I've lived in Arizona for over 20 years. I've been in Phoenix since 2017. I had no idea that there was a team called Mercury in Phoenix, in the Phoenix Valley. I had no idea. And I had been to baseball games and been to NBA games downtown and never even knew the Mercury existed. Nobody watching y'all, bro. Now, if y'all were in lingerie, people will watch you. Not me, because I'm a good Christian. But if you really want some attention, if y'all dress skanky, then maybe some people watch you. Keep it real. They really want to see them when they come to the halftime game. I mean, they come to the pregame and they dressed all sexy. People like to watch that probably more than they watch the game.
What does that mean, pay us what you owe us? Okay. Unless you're Caitlin Clark, you shouldn't ever be able to put on a shirt that says pay us what you owe us. I'll explain it to you ladies. And it's nothing against girls. People think I'm misogynistic and shit like that. I love women. I have sisters. I have a mother. I love women. But guys, let's be real here. Okay? Your league makes no fucking revenue at all. It's probably a write-off for the NBA. I'm just being real here. I'm being real here. I'll tell you guys how it is. I don't really give a fuck.
So during WNBA All-Star Weekend, WNBA players wore a shirt that said, "Pay us what you owe us." Pay us what you owe us. I'm going to be respectful today. Obviously, they want a bigger share of the revenue that they bring in to the WNBA, because right now they only get 25% of the league's revenue when the NBA players get 50% of the league's revenue. Even though the NBA makes about $10 billion a year and the WNBA grosses about $200 million, but they also lose $40 to $50 million a year. So from an ownership standpoint, if you own a WNBA team, you've been putting into this league since 1996 and you have never turned a profit. When the league reaches the point that it's at now, why would you increase the revenue share if you're an owner? You want to make the money that you've been investing for years. And that's just a simple business standpoint. And like I've said before numerous of times, it's not a man's job to make sure that a women's sport makes the money that they feel like they should make. We already support the NFL. We already support the NBA. We already support whatever sport we like to support. It's on the females to get out here and make going to WNBA games a moment. It's on the females to buy WNBA jerseys. It's on the females to go there, buy popcorn, and increase the league's revenue. They are not about to make me feel guilty because they feel like they're not making the money that they deserve and they're in a negative, and the NBA is already donating to the WNBA, which is something that I did not know until a few months ago. So when it comes to this, I speak to it respectfully because these women have chosen this life to play the game of basketball professionally, and they feel like they don't make enough money. But my question is, if you're an owner, why would you increase the share that you give these players and you've been taking a loss since 1996? It really doesn't make sense.
What type of bullshit is this? So players across the WNBA decided to make a statement by wearing "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts at their All-Star game. Okay, since you want to talk about money and pay us what you owe us, the WNBA loses $50 million every single year and has never generated a profit not one time. And you want to know how long the WNBA has been around for? Since 1996. That's 28 years. The only player that is allowed to wear this shirt is this player right here, Caitlin Clark. Anybody else making that claim or statement? I don't want to hear it. The numbers, the statistics, the data just ain't adding up. How are you going to be in debt, losing money, but yet complain this is what we deserve? What makes you come to that conclusion? You will get what you deserve when you sell more tickets, when you sell more jerseys, when more people are watching the game, when you do box office numbers, and you will get every single last penny you could ever desire.
There are like a few litmus tests that I feel like we could run in society to see the level of misogyny men have within us. And one is just cropped up, right? Well, I won't say just, but it's pretty apparent now. And that is, here's the question. Here's the test. Ask a man, does he watch the WNBA? Right? I don't watch the WNBA, but to be fair, I don't watch the NBA. So anyways, ask a man, does he watch the WNBA? Just to gauge, his level of understanding. More than likely, he's going to say no. Right? Cool. And then go, and then ask him about the labor dispute or the impending labor dispute between the Players Association and the WNBA ownership, management, whatever. Ask them, do they know of it? Most of them are gonna go, yeah. Most men do know what's going on with the WNBA as far as that's concerned, which I find funny. So once you get, step number one, step number two, then ask the man, does he think that the women in the WNBA, the players, deserve what they're asking for? And what the women are essentially asking for is 50%. They want 50%, not of the profits, but of the revenue, of the money that is being used in the league, like to pay whoever. They're like, we deserve 50% of that because we're labor. We are the league. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of people they pay, right? There's office people, you know what I mean? All of that stuff. All of that's included in the budget. but or in within the revenue. But the players are just like, I mean, yeah, we deserve to be paid 50% or whatever they're asking for. Just ask that man, how does he feel about that? Does he think that they deserve that money? And wait for his response. Because the vast majority of men are going to say, no, they don't deserve that money. No, they don't deserve that money. Right. And then when he says no, ask him why. And what most of them are going to say, because they're programmed to say this, they're going to say that the players, the WNBA players don't deserve to make as much money as NBA players, their male counterparts, right? Now, that's not what the WNBA players are asking for. And if you think that's what they're asking for, to me, essentially, what you are implying is these women are fucking idiots and imbeciles. And they're anything but that, right? Let's look at the WNBA as a whole, right? More WNBA players are college graduates than in the NBA. I bet you anything, the majority of if not the vast majority of WNBA players are college graduates. And in the NBA, it is the inverse of that. I bet you the vast majority of NBA players are nowhere near having a college degree. One and dones, two and dones, maybe, right? The vast majority of them, and most of them don't go back, right? I love LeBron. LeBron doesn't have a degree. LeBron doesn't have a degree. I listen to LeBron. I respect LeBron. It's not to throw LeBron under the bus. He's just the most popular player in the world right now. And LeBron doesn't have a degree. I don't even think Steph Curry has a degree. And he went for 3 years. I don't think he might have gone back and gotten his degree. But a lot of these players, especially if they're really good, they're one and done. Kyrie Irving, one and done. You know? So I think it's funny to assume that the WNBA players are stupid and don't know business, but the NBA players do. Like, that's crazy. Like, the WNBA players are smart. They're smart. I would venture to, I don't even think this is a stretch. I'm pretty sure the WNBA players are smarter than the NBA players. And when I say smarter, I mean, I believe they are both more educated and more intelligent. Both. So either way, I think if you did the average IQ of an NBA player versus the average IQ of a WNBA player, I think the average IQ in the WNBA is higher than the average IQ in the NBA. My guess, right? So all of these things, when you put them together, they just equate to the WNBA players are intelligent human beings. They're probably, and I'll even go a step further. WNBA players are on average probably more intelligent than the average American. Again, flip that around though for NBA. I don't think the NBA players are on average more intelligent than the average American. I don't. So now everything's working against their logic in my mind. WNBA players are very intelligent. They know exactly how the business works, exactly how it works. I guarantee you, they understand it from a historical context and a present day perspective. They are highly intelligent. I have listened to them talk about it. They are highly intelligent. All of them know what's going on. Every single time they talked about it, I was like, oh yeah, they know. I've heard like 6 or 7 of the players talk about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really break it down. And I'm like, oh yeah, they all not experts, just regular players. Just pluck the player out, ask them what's going on. They know. So when you ask men about the WNBA, I bet anything, the vast majority of them are going to say that these women don't deserve the money that they're asking for. That is a red flag on so many levels. Their default position is women don't deserve as much money as men. That's their default position. That's where it stems from. Then when you go a little bit further, they also just don't think women, they just don't want to see the WNBA win because it's a league full of women. They want to see the women struggle. They want to see the women flounder, right? And then the last part of it is okay, let's say you didn't understand what they were asking for. Why didn't you take the time to go get educated on it? Because it's a 5-minute search to look up and see what the WNBA players are actually asking for, right? They are not asking to be paid as much as LeBron James is paid. They're not asking to be paid as much as James Harden is being paid. They're asking for the same percentage. They're asking for the same cut. That's what they're asking for. And they're not, and they're gonna, oh yeah, the revenue, there's no profit in the WNBA. Yeah, we've heard that. We understand that. But let's break that down.
Do the WNBA players deserve more money, even though the league isn't making money?
They do. And I know for a lot of people who have focused on that statistic you said that it's not profitable, I want people to understand this in context. The NBA was not profitable for over 40 years, maybe about 45. The NFL was not profitable for 50 years. Did players' salaries go down? No, they continued to go up. And what I would say that people have to understand that one, the WNBA players are not asking to be paid the same amount as NBA players. They're asking for a higher percentage of the revenue. Currently, they get 9%. That is absurdly low. Now, we know, say, for example, that UFC, they have a very notorious reputation for not paying their fighters, right? That this has been a long-standing battle in that league. The UFC fighters are getting 18%. Of the professional sports leagues, the WNBA is pretty much at the lowest. So yes, they deserve more money.
She just said that the NBA and the NFL weren't profitable for 40 and 45 years. For 40 and 45 years. How long has the WNBA been around? Since the 90s, correct? Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Lisa Lobo, during those days, right? Say about 30 years. The WNBA has been around for about 30 years, I would say. 1995. Does that feel right? That sounds right. They still got 15 years to go. Give them another 15 years before we start judging if the league should be done away with or not. First and foremost. Secondly, she just pointed out that the pay never decreased in the NBA and the NFL. From a historical standpoint, it has always increased. Even when the league wasn't profitable, it increased. So I'm trying to understand, how do you not walk away from this clearly seeing the misogyny, clearly seeing how the patriarchy functions? This is a prime example of how the patriarchy disadvantages women and gives an inherent advantage to men. Men, yes, they still had to go and fight for more money. No doubt about it. Men had to go and fight for more money. No doubt about it. Nobody is denying that. It's not like the men were just given the money. Men had to hold out. Yes. There's been so many tales of men holding out and doing all these things, but nonetheless, they were compensated. They were paid. And ownership is trying to fuck everybody over, which is a reason why I don't understand, again, why working class people, such as myself, such as yourself, would ever side with management. Because essentially, if you go against the WNBA players, you are siding with management. If you are telling the WNBA players that they are irrational, then you are siding with management. You're siding with ownership. Now imagine you being on strike as a worker and having a bunch of people who are workers just like you, maybe not in the same factory, not in the same profession, but nonetheless workers just like you, coming out and saying you don't deserve what you're asking for. And they don't even do your fucking job. Nor have they taken 2 minutes to educate themselves on what you do and why you're asking for what you're asking for. Even when you show them from a historical standpoint how this is unprecedented, it doesn't make sense. We deserve more than 9%, whatever. They still go, I side with the ownership. You guys don't deserve it. Who are you? Class traders? You guys are you men are class traders when it comes to the things that you guys are saying and doing in regards to the WNBA players. You guys are class traders. Let's start there. You're class traders off the rip. and then you're misogynist. Let's get to that intersectionality now. You guys are class traders and misogynists. So anytime I hear a man openly admitting to not being in favor of WNBA players making more money, that's a red flag. That's a litmus test for me now. That's my thing. And you know, there's been like other ones, you know, like last year it was, do you understand why women are choosing the bear? That was my litmus test. Like I was like, you know, any man that would be on some like, and the women chose the bear. Like anybody that would say that, I was up. Yep. Okay. I see. You're one of those guys. Any man that doesn't understand why the WNBA players deserve more money, you're one of those guys. Yeah. You're a blatant misogynist. You're a raging misogynist. And you can try to hide it. You're just trying to hide it. You're just trying to hide it. It doesn't make any sense. Outside of misogyny, why would you side with ownership? Why would you side with management? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. The only rationale I have is misogyny. That's it. So you're willing to betray your own class, the working class, because believe it or not, LeBron James is a laborer. In so many cases, he could also be an owner because he owns several businesses. Don't get me wrong, but in most of his business ventures, he's the laborer. He's the talent. So yeah, LeBron James could be worth $1 billion, but some laborers make $1 billion. Some artists, Beyonce is a laborer. Beyonce isn't management. She's a laborer. When she goes to bat against label companies, I will side with Beyonce every single fucking time. Like 99.9, it has to be egregious for me not to be like, no, she's right. No, she's right. Lil Wayne goes against the labels. I'm riding with Lil Wayne. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if Lil Wayne has some employees, let's say Nicki Minaj and Drake come together to go against Lil Wayne, I'm probably going to side with Drake and Nicki Minaj because they're under Lil. You see what I'm saying? That's how that works. So there's levels to it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm always on the side of labor. I can't think of any instance in my lifetime that I've ever encountered a labor dispute and I sided with management. I can't think of one. And I'm like, I love labor politics. I love labor politics. I'm addicted to it because I'm a fucking working class person. And the WNBA fight affects me, believe it or not. Those women getting their money affects me getting my money. Right? It sets a precedent for labor across the globe, not even just in America, but across the globe. That's why Cesar Chavez, right? Even though he has his many, flaws or had his many flaws, but that the concept, the labor dispute, what he did affected me. A black man in America, what he did affected me. What happened in the factories in Ford 100 years ago, 115, 120 years ago, what happened back then affects me now. Labor affects us because we are most 99. I mean, unless some rich oligarch is watching my channel, which I doubt it. I don't know why they would. You're part of the labor. You're part of the working class. So just on that alone, you guys need to fucking knock it off. I'm so tired of hearing men coming after the WNBA players. It's disgusting.